Oh, I got to. I can
What's
throw
up,
some
Owen?
freaking. Oh,
What's
he's in
up?
here. Oh, my bad. What's up, bro?
Can you guys see and hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah, we
can.
got you. Yeah. Yeah. You run D2, right? You're in
Mm-hmm.
Lee. Nice, man. I started off D2. I went to Adams State my freshman year.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah,
Dang. Nice.
yeah. It's a wild
Do you
place
like
up
it
there.
there?
Yeah. Dude, the team's awesome. Alamosa isn't my favorite, like the town, but
Yeah.
the team's freaking awesome. Awesome group of dudes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, they're doing a lot better now too. Luckily, they kind of didn't have the greatest past couple seasons, but they seem to be getting it
Mm-hmm.
together. So
Yeah, they're
at
definitely
least
good.
the guys, the girls, kind of have always
Yeah, the girls are
seemed to be.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. But yeah, so like we just kind of we'll just go through some questions and stuff, and just kind of get to know you a little bit more, man.
All right. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
just starting off, can you just give like a quick like little background on like your running and kind of how you got into it?
Yeah. Um, well, I'm from Kingman, Kansas. It's a small town kind of by Wichita. And basically I just started running because I didn't play football. So my dad entered me in some 5Ks, like fun runs. And that was during the fall, probably seventh grade or so. And I didn't play football because I wanted to, I guess, not get hurt for basketball. And so just entered in some fun runs. And there's a couple people from my town that I would always race. In fact, a lady, she was, I don't know how old she was, but anyways, I'd always, me and her would always go back and forth when I was a kid. So it's pretty fun to have like that competition. And then, I don't know, it just kind of took off from there. So then I went to Oklahoma Christian. I did 4 years there, and then now I've done a year at Lee. I was a grad transfer this last year, and then I'm doing my last year here at Lee. This in
Gotcha.
this year. So
Yeah, a quick thing like to know, I think Noah, you'd find this interesting too. One of the guys that you also went back and forth was with in high school, I know is Tegan Flanagan, right?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh
That's
God.
a that's an interesting person that we've raced at Arkansas State. So it's just
yeah.
Yeah,
kind of a
Tegan the
funny
man.
coincidence.
That was later on. That was in high school. Me and him were teammates. So he went to the same
Oh,
school
yo,
as me.
teammates. Dang,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
wild. No, it's pretty funny that your story. You start off your running career start off racing with a rivalry with an old lady in your town, but
Yeah.
that's a pretty unique one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, you're so wait, do you have a full year of eligibility still, or like do you have four like three like cross indoor and outdoor, or you only got a
Everything but
couple?
outdoor.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
just got cross and indoor this upcoming season.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice, nice. What do you have any goals going into this cross season and indoor?
Yeah. I haven't made it to nationals as an individual in track, so that's definitely a goal. But I don't know. I want to be an All American. Hopefully, I can be
Hmm.
an All American this year in cross country, and then All American in track as well. Um, so yeah, I mean, I made it to nationals last year on the nationals team in
Hmm.
cross country, but I didn't have a very good race. I was hoping to do a lot better, but yeah, hopefully this year I can make All American. I think it's top 40, so just shooting for that.
Yeah, I was at that race in Joplin, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was there. I was watching it, but so this is something I've always like I said, I started off D2, so I've always kind of had like I love man, I like D2 running just as much as D1, but
Yeah.
what do you think like as far as like the meets go, and you've also been a lot of that's the nice thing about I know a little bit about Lee just because do you know? Oh no, you probably weren't there. Were you there when Carson Bix was there?
No, no, that was
Okay,
before me.
yeah. He was
I'd
a good
raced
friend.
Adam.
Yeah. Yeah, he transferred. He was my friend to Adams and he transferred, I think, after cross season. So I guess I would have been a little before you. But so I know a little bit about Lee just because of him. But how would you like I said, you've raced D1 and D2 meets. What's how does those compare to you? Like how like at least like number one, like speed and then just like the overall like quality of the meets. Like do you notice much of a difference between them?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only time we race D2 only is probably conference regionals and nationals for
Mhm.
cross country way. I guess for track too. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would just say, yeah, I mean, they're just like the depth of D1 is a lot. I don't know. There's just a lot more depth in D1 than D2. And I mean, a lot of the top end guys in D1 are faster than the top end guys in D2, except for, maybe a couple. Like I know the Adam State guy this last year, I can't remember his name, but he ran like 13.
Romaine, yeah,
Yeah. He ran like, what he run? 13:20, something in
something
indoor.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
13:20, and I think he ended up. I think he went under 13:20 in outdoors.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. 13:12
and
or
so
something.
yeah, he did
Yeah.
something ridiculous.
Yeah. So, I mean, other than him and maybe like one or two other guys, I mean, D1's quite a bit, just a lot faster, but I enjoy going to the D1 meets because it really lets
Mhm.
anyone compete against each other. It's not just, separating, in other sports like basketball, football, that, they mainly just play except for like an exhibition match or something like that, they don't really get to
Yeah.
play other D1. So it's kind of, there's like no one really knows how much different it is, but with running, it's like it lets everyone run against each other, and I like that about it. So,
Are you a pretty big like? Would you be so like? This is something I've always been pretty passionate about. Are you pretty big advocate for D2 as well? Like high school, do you think high schoolers should like look more into like D2 schools whenever they're getting recruited? Then, because I feel like that's a pretty like big like stigma, or I don't know what the word is, but like that's like every yes a high schooler like what do you want to do? Like what are your goals after high school? And like most of them are gonna say, oh, I want to go run D1. Um,
yeah.
but like I've been trying to I want high schools to look more into like D2 schools. There's something do you have anything to say about that, or like an opinion on that?
um, I mean, yeah, it kind of depends on what works for you, and I don't know. I don't think that you should like look D1 or D2. I think you should just look for something that works best for you, a program that fits your um, I guess your training style that you like, a good coach. I guess in high school you don't really know what training works for you yet, so I guess don't take that too much into consideration. But yeah, I mean, I think D2 schools can work out for a lot of people. I mean, there's been pros that have came out of D2 as well, so there's not really one way to go about it. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't look past D2 at all if you're a high school kid um, wanting to run in college. So I mean, yeah, I don't have too much of an opinion, but I definitely think that D2 can work for a lot of people. Um, Sometimes in the D1 programs, if you're not one of their top guys, sometimes you can kind of just be thrown to the,
Yeah,
they don't really care too much about you, and whether you could go to a
absolutely.
D2 and be one of the best ones there, and they'll give you a lot more attention and a lot more one-on-one time with the coach and
Yeah,
stuff like that. So just kind of
yeah.
whatever works.
I think high schoolers. I wish this is even something I looked into. Like someone had told me when I was in high school getting recruited, is that like, yeah, I mean, D1 is the, I mean, it's there's a little more glory in D1, and like, you are like, it's just more pretty, I guess, is the way to put it. But
Yeah.
like, I would tell so many like good high schoolers who are like maybe like on the cusp of being like a decent D1 runner. Like, I mean, I take a shot like a D2. Like, in my opinion, it's a lot more fun to get to go to travel to meets. Like, I'd rather go to D2 nationals for 4 years rather than having a shot at maybe going to D1 nationals once.
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah,
mean, and it's also like obviously like personal preference, but I think that's something that high schoolers and something I've even tried to do, encouraging athletes, is to look into like D2. Because I mean, like I said, you even run for a D2 school, and you go to, just like I said, there's only 3 meets a season that you don't race D1 teams. So you're going to the
yeah,
same meets. It's just
yeah,
it's that's like always been my opinion on it, and it's all I like to hear other D2 runners' thoughts on it.
yeah, yeah,
And so
yeah. I totally agree.
Yeah, and so like you
um
started your career at Oklahoma Christian, now you're at Lee. Can you kind of talk about like a little bit of your transfer process and like some of the reasoning behind that as well?
Yeah. Um, I mean, I mainly transferred because a lot of the guys on my team at OC, they were more shorter distance guys, like 800, 1,500 guys. And so I wanted to go to a school that had a little bit more like cross country guys, I guess. And I would say that's the main reasoning behind the transfer. But
Gotcha.
the process of transferring was actually really quick for me because I got in the portal really late in like June. And then I think it was like I think it was in June that I got in the portal and then committed. So I committed within a month of being in the portal. And Lee was just, it kind of like stood out as the best option. I was thinking about going to D1 schools, but I would have been paying a lot more money at a D1. And I didn't want to, have to spend a lot of money. And I don't know, Lee just had a lot of good runners. They always make cross country nationals. And just seemed like a good team to be a part of. So that's kind of how I went about it, I guess.
Remind me,
Yeah,
where is
awesome.
Lee?
It's kind of by Chattanooga, if you know
Okay.
where that's at.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
East Tennessee.
Okay. Yeah. What's the town called?
Yeah, just a little north of Chattanooga. It's in Cleveland, is the
Cleveland.
town.
Okay, cool. So y'all are up in the mountains, aren't you? This is kind of a mountain. Is it a mountain area?
Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah, there's mountains within like 20 minutes of where I live. So yeah,
Do
it's
y'all
pretty
use
cool.
that for training at all?
I mean, it's not altitude. It's not at
Right.
altitude. We're at like 600 feet, I think, here. But then
Oh,
once
okay.
you get in the mountains, it's like 2,000, 3,000. I think if you go to the very top, it's like 4 or 5. But we do run a couple places in the mountains, but um, not too much. Really, just for long runs and maybe some long tempos and stuff like that. Because it's a
Mm,
bit of a drive. It's 20 to 30 minutes to get to some good spots. So yeah,
yeah, I hear you. That's kind of what we would do it when I was at Adams. We would do these. He call it Martin would call them mountain runs, and we would except our drive. Like I mean, we're already at 7,500 feet, but like he would drive us an hour and a half, probably hour to hour and a half, up into the anyone knows anything about Almost. It's kind of like it's in a they call it a high plains desert. So you're kind of like you're up high in the air, but you're not actually like Alamos is pancake flat. It's like you can run
yeah,
15 miles there and gain 10 feet of elevation,
yeah,
like the entire run. But when you drive into the mountains, no, you go up to like 10,000 feet, and that's what we would do is you'd go do mountain runs where you'd get those big climbs and stuff, and you're at this like ridiculous elevation. But
yeah,
um, Drew had some questions. We had some questions. Drew was saying you're a big hair guy. You like to you give the
yeah.
chop. So what made you start that, bro?
Um, I don't know. Well, I guess it was Tegan. Tegan was my first person that I ever cut. He didn't want to drive like 45 minutes to Wichita, and so he just asked me to give him a cut, and so I
Were
tried.
y'all in that small of a town that like you had to
Yeah,
drive to Wichita to get a haircut?
yeah. Unless you wanted to go to a hair salon,
That's wild.
so I tried to give him a fade, and it was terrible. And then he went to school. He was like getting made fun of and everything. But But eventually I tried a couple more times and I eventually made it look good. I started like watching YouTube videos and stuff like that. And then eventually like got it down and people started uh, having me cut their hair in high school. And then it just carried into college. And that's a good way to make a little money. So
Yeah,
That's so funny.
you've even cut my hair a few times.
yeah, I've cut Drew a couple times. Did I
Yeah,
cut you at
dude.
camp here?
Yep.
Yeah, cross country camp. Gave Drew a
Man, that's
fade.
awesome.
Yeah. Hey,
That's so you're
while we're on the topic of camp, can you kind of talk about like we had Sadio on last week and he talked about his experience a little bit. Can you maybe share kind of like how you got started with camp?
Yeah. See, it was freshman year of high school, I think, that Ramsey reached out to me to run on the national team. And I guess for those who are listening that don't know, talking about Dave Ramsey, he runs a smarter training for faster running camp in Colorado. And anyways, he reached out to me to run on the national team in November of my freshman year. And I didn't end up doing it, but I always kind of had it in the back of my head. And this other guy named Calvin Shannon also went, and I was pretty good friends with him. He was from Smoky Valley in Kansas as a 4A school, and I raced against him some, and he was pretty good. And so he talked me into going to camp that first year. So went to the camp there, and I don't know, I just felt like I got so much better in that next year. My times all dropped. I was running like 30-second PRs in the 5K and 2 mile in track, and so I just kept going for another year. And after that, I just kind of always kept that same training style throughout high school. And then obviously when I got to college, it changed up a little bit because I had a different coach and everything. But I give
Right.
Coach Ramsey a lot of credit for my success in high school for sure. So
Yeah. Awesome.
a good experience. I would recommend it to any of the kids that are thinking about going to a cross country camp.
Yeah, I like that. Oh man, I wish I missed out on this camp when I was in high school. But
Yeah.
not for real. Drew also was telling me a little bit more before we talked. Your last season, you were dealing with some injury stuff. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What were you going through?
I had an Achilles injury, and I think it was my right Achilles. It just got super swollen, and I think it was just really bad tendonitis. It would get like real squeaky, and you could, like if I grabbed the back of it, it would just like, it felt terrible.
Like it would
Um,
actually like you could hear it squeak while you're running or something.
Not while I was running, but if I like bent or like pointed my toes up and then down and like moved my foot up and down and like held the back of it, you could feel it like squeak on your hand.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so it's pretty messed up. But um, anyways, I dealt with that for like 2.5 months, probably since Christmas, from Christmas to about March. And so yeah, that was a bit of a struggle this last year, but eventually it kind of went away. And I saw quite a few trainers for it, and eventually finally got it to go away. So it's just one of those weird deals that kind of randomly went away.
Yeah.
Was that your first like major injury, or have you dealt with other ones in the past?
No, that was actually the first major injury I've had. Besides, I broke my neck my junior year diving in a swimming pool, and so that one was big, but it wasn't really running related. So
Did you did you dive into like a 3 foot pool or like a shallow
no,
pool?
no, it's actually deep, but I dove on top of we were trying to dive through the middle of an inner tube, and so I ran from the
Oh,
side and tried to dive through it, and I landed on top of it on my head, and I kind of got caught on top of the water, and my
oh
neck just,
God.
Oh,
yeah.
That's
So
awful.
not a good deal, but
that's a
not
wild
really a running related
situation.
injury.
You
Yeah,
said
Yeah.
junior
I
year?
I was off for like 3 months because of that one.
Oh,
Maybe four. I don't know. It was a long time. Basically well, I did miss all of cross country my junior year because of it.
Dang.
that's a crazy injury. That's
That's
a
why I'm still here. That's why I'm still here. So giving me this
yeah,
year.
Well, that's true.
yeah,
At
yeah.
least you can
There you
see
go.
the like the bright side of it.
Yeah.
Came back for the sixth year.
Yeah.
Um, but I do have some questions about navigating that. We'll focus more on the Achilles injury, but like what did that get pretty like like mentally? Because I know I've heard a lot of stories. Like, was that like could that be mentally tough for you at times going through that? And or were you did you think you feel like it was pretty like I don't know how did you how was it for you?
Oh, it was rough. Uh, I mean, especially because I hadn't dealt with anything really of that kind or like an actual running injury for a long, I guess ever. But so when you're a fifth year senior and that's the first time it's happened, it's really frustrating. And I also feel like it added to it that I had just transferred schools, and so when you first
Hmm.
transfer, you're trying to prove yourself, and so the coaches and your teammates that I guess what you're capable of. And so when you're injured and you can't do that, and yeah, it's just pretty rough. mentally. And cross training always sucks, when you're by yourself and you're swimming. And I mostly swam because the bike would hurt my Achilles still. And so I was swimming every day and just going to the YMCA by myself every day and staring at a black line. It kind of gets old, but
Yeah.
eventually it did off, and I was glad because when I started back running, I was still running pretty well. Like, our I have indoor for this next year anyway, so I didn't need eligibility. So I just asked my coach to put me in a race because I tried to run and I could run like 3 miles before it would like get really bad to where I'd start limping and stuff. So like I think it'll last the 3K. So we'll just throw some what do you call it? The icy hot or whatever.
Icy
Put
hot,
some
yeah.
Yeah.
so I can just see if it'll make it. And I
Couple
did
layers
like
will
a
do.
little workout a few days before just to see how it would go. And I mean, it was really sore after, but actually when I ran faster, it didn't hurt as much. But obviously it would hurt way more after I quit for that day. But anyways, I talked him into letting me race our last race before conference. And I had 2 days of running before that race, and I ran 8:26 in the 3K. So basically all off swimming I did that. So I don't know, the cross training helped, but mentally is really tough to go
Yeah.
through.
Yeah, that.
Just there a lot of times I was sitting there and I was just like, man, I think I'm just gonna not cross train until I can run again because it's just tough. But
Right. Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, your passion's running, it's not swimming. And yeah, no, I
yeah,
feel that. And it's hard to make yourself go do that. But man, dude, that cross training worked for you though. If you ran
Yeah.
a 8:26 off of just swimming, that's pretty nuts.
yeah. No, it was good. I felt really aerobically fit, but once I started to go lactic, I was just done. It's just one of
Yeah,
the I was missing a couple parts of the training, but aerobically, I felt almost just as fit as I was when I was running. So,
which yeah, makes sense. I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
And I
And
my
so
best outdoor seasons after that too. So, it ended up working out pretty nice.
nice. That's really good. And then coming to cross, have you had a pretty good like summer training block?
Yeah, it's been good. I actually haven't had any issues building up, and usually in the summers, especially when you take off like the full, usually I take like 1 to 2 weeks off, full like
Hmm.
not running at all. And usually when I was coming back, I would have like a little, week span of like something would be bothering me, and so I'd have to,
Yeah.
cross train a couple days or something to let it go away. Just kind of like some little frustrating things, but never lasted long. And so far, it's fingers crossed. So far, it's good. So um, building up about 80 miles a week right now. So
Nice.
You're at
That's good to
80
hear.
this week, or that's what you're working up to?
I'm at 80. Well, I hit 80 last week, but now I'm on a down week again. So I'm back to like
Okay,
70 week.
Man, that's exactly what I
gotcha.
am. That's pretty funny.
Really?
I was 80 last week, down week this week. Um, but do you know what races are y'all going to this year for cross?
Uh, I know we're going to Louisville.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Sweet.
You guys
Yeah,
go there? Okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
we're
we are
going
this
this
year.
year. Normally we go to Chili Pepper, but we're switching
Oh,
it up.
okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, going to Louisville, and then, well, we have a meet before that. I honestly can't remember where it is, where our first meet is.
do y'all
Um,
go to Memphis Twilight?
no, we
I
have
say I don't.
before.
Yeah,
Yeah, but then we go to Huntsville, maybe the D2
yeah,
showcase is that,
Okay.
and conference I think is in Mississippi, I believe, and then regionals is at Huntsville again.
nice.
So
Is that where y'all's regionals is normally there, isn't it?
yeah, either there, and last year we had it at Montevallo, which is,
Oh, okay.
yeah, just a little bit south of there, and
Where is
then
D2 Nats this year?
California in Sacramento.
Sacramento. That's a nice
Okay,
course. I
nice.
remember. I
Yeah,
remember hearing about that.
yeah, it's super flat. So that's
Yeah,
good for
be fast.
yeah,
Well
yeah,
then, man, yeah, you got some good, dang, you got some quick courses coming up then for this year.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
We get under the 24-minute mark a couple times.
oh yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, that's an awesome season. Is there like, and you said you're shooting for uh All American at D2 or at nationals, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Nice.
a goal. So, um,
How's the
but
team feeling? Y'all, you should make it as a team again this year.
yeah, yeah, we should. We have a couple we had a couple people leave, but we got some good recruit or transfers coming in that should be
Hmm.
good. So I don't think we'll suffer any from losing those two people that we lost, or like the two seniors that were on the top seven last year.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, we definitely will suffer from losing. I don't know if you've heard of him, Matt Fowler. He was our number
I know
one
the name. Yeah.
year. Yeah, he was really good last year for us. So, I mean, we will suffer a little bit from losing him, but hopefully we can have some other guys fill in.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
it sounds like yeah, y'all got a good season. I've always liked Lee. I've always kind of kept up with him because of Carson. But oh, I do have a question about. Do you ever does Christian Noble ever come around? Like, do y'all ever
yeah,
like hear or talk to him?
yeah. He has a couple times. He came last track season for outdoor. He ran a mile at our school. We had an outdoor mile, and
Hmm.
at our home meet, and so he came back and ran that. Uh, they wanted him to run. I think there's never been a sub 4 mile on Tennessee soil. Maybe no, that's not true. Sorry, I can't remember what it was. I don't know, but they wanted him to break four, and he barely missed it. He
Hmm.
ran like four flat or 4:01 something.
Ah,
Yeah, but it was a cold day. It was cold outside and a little bit
yeah.
windy, so
Do
just
y'all have
not
an
very
indoor
good
track?
weather for him. No, no.
Okay, yeah, I didn't think y'all did. I'm just
Yeah,
curious
we have
about.
a nice outdoor facility though. We have quite a few meets there in outdoor season.
Does it ever really even get that cold there in the winter?
No, but it is a lot more humid here, so sometimes the temperatures can feel a bit colder than they are.
Yeah.
The same, pretty much the same as Kansas, just a little more humid. You know,
Okay. Yeah.
so but it gets down to like 30s in the winter,
Okay.
I'd say. So,
Gotcha.
but yeah, the
Um,
humidity can make it feel a little worse.
so for just kind of one last question before we kind of wrap things up, but do you have any interest in a post collegiate career or any sort of like it doesn't even have to be like necessarily on the track, but just any sort of do you have any aspirations to continue
Yeah,
or
I do.
plans?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I'll kind of assess what I'm gonna do. Uh, I know I have like some. I need to go to barber school at some point, so I want to get my barber's license.
Yeah.
So stuff depends on that. Maybe some job opportunities that I get as well. Depends on that too. Um, but I think if I continue, I'll probably just try to stay on the track. I don't really want to run like road races or
Uh,
anything like that. I like the shorter distances. So
Not a marathon guy, not a half marathon guy.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, unless there's something crazy happens this year, I mean, hopefully I'll run really good. But um, if I get an opportunity to get sponsored or something like that, I would definitely take it. But unless I run a lot quicker than what I'm running right now, then I don't think that'll be happening. Just based off of how fast people are getting these days.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, I understand. There's still plenty of opportunities out there for like even like what is nice is with track and field growing, there's a lot more like maybe not necessarily like opportunities to make as much money, but like there's still opportunities for, sub elite runners to go out there and compete still. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But
yeah, I feel you. Well,
Yeah.
dude, thanks for talking to us. I always like talking to some D2 boys. Like I said,
yeah,
I may not be now, but I was at one
yeah,
point and still love some D2. So Andrew, you got anything else you want to say?
Yeah. I mean, not really. Just thanks for hopping on and good luck with cross and we'll see you in Louisville.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, maybe
Thanks
we
for
might have
having
to
me
get
on.
another podcast after that. We'll get the race recap
In-person
then.
one or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me on though, and good luck to
Yeah,
you
for
guys
sure,
on this
man.
Yeah,
trip
of
Yeah,
as
good
well.
course.
to meet
Thanks.
you. Good to learn from you, dude.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you guys later.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
See
appreciate
you,
you,
man.
man.